How strong is Sternritter D, the death-dealing, Askin Nakk? Askin almost came to blows with Mayu recruit Tsuchi in what would have been one of the most amazing battles ever. He did fight Yoroichi Shihoin. His ultimate battle was against Kisuke Urahara. He scuffled with Oitsu Nimaya of Squad 0. Furthermore, he even managed to poison Post-Royal Palace Ichigo. Perhaps the most entertaining Sternritter of all. Let's examine the strength of Askin Nakk.
ようこそ私のソウルソサエティへ。仕方ないっすね。挽回観音開き紅姫改め。
Askin Nakk was chosen from below to become one of the Schutzstaffel, a group consisting of elite-level fighters. They were also described as unrivaled men, a description given by the most analytical female Sternritter, Lil Toto. Being one of the queens who spent 1,000 years building up his strength in the Abundant Reich, he does possess a substantial amount of spiritual power. As Askin was chosen to be a Schutzstaffel above other characters, comparisons can be made. As Askin himself puts it, he was chosen by Yuha because he had a strong resistance to death. In other words, he's hard to kill, he can take a lot of punishment. This would mean that among all remaining Sternritters, Yuha ranked Askin's durability or resistance to death above everybody else. With this information, we can then make a proper comparison. Among the remaining Sternritter was Baz B, Sternritter H the Heat, who was strong enough to counter one of Genryu's Shikai attacks, an attack which was meant to wipe out 3 Captain-class Sternritters. Baz B could also face Renji for a prolonged period of time, more specifically a post-Royal Palace Renji who was able to blow away a Vollstandig Master Masculine. In a much lower form, Mask was able to no-diff Kensei's Bankai and could move so fast that he escaped Kensei's visual perception. Now this is relevant since he underwent many boosts afterwards, before undergoing a Quincy Vollstandig, and Yuha chose Askin Nakk's natural death resistance over Bazbi's attack power, and Bazbi's speed which could fight against Renji's Bankai. Although this is all a reference to Askin's power in base form before the Ashwalin Amp. When the Schutzstaffel faced the Sword God Oitsu Nimaya, although he could cut down the other Schutzstaffel members, including their leader, Lilebaro, Askin could observe and break down the cutting power of Nimaya's blade, and could jump backwards at the same speed as the swing. And even after his throat was cut with killing intent, he simply remained alive and cast a death dealing upon Nimaya. Furthermore, his physical abilities and spiritual power would increase thanks to Yuha's consecration, which transferred Vollstandig level powers to the base forms of the Schutzstaffel members. A base Askin could also withstand the assault of Yoroichi's Raijin Senkei, Yushiro's Shunko Bakuen Musuo, and multiple strikes from Yoroichi's Cat Goddess form. Askin's ability, the death dealing, is focused on the lethal dose. In other words, what dosage of a particular substance is necessary to cause death. In Askin's case, this can be anything, including blood or reishi. By ingesting his own blood, he's able to control the lethal dose of the blood in the opponent. Even the likes of Oitsu Nimaya had to completely replace his blood in order to survive. To activate the death dealing, Askin needs to take a large dose of whatever he designates into his own body. And with this, he can control the lethality of substances for himself and the opponent. For example, if you hit him with a large dose of your spiritual pressure, he can make himself immune to it, so all of your spiritual pressure based techniques become useless. And when he acquires immunity, all the injuries sustained from that spiritual pressure will heal. Furthermore, he could defeat the likes of Ichigo, Chad, and Orihime with a special ability. He creates a poison space in which he can lower your tolerance to whatever he chooses. In their case, he made Reishi poisonous. Note that Reishi makes up the spirit worlds, which means that Askin can use one of the most abundant things in the Bleach universe as his weapon. Askin can also use balls of poison called gifts to instantly poison the opponent when he comes in contact with them. His uniquely designed Vollstandig affords him a higher order of power. Even against Yoroichi's cat form Reiatsu, which changes 48 times per second, his Vollstandig can quickly build up an immunity to all 48 types of spiritual pressures, adapting to any change in the fundamental spiritual pressure. He can toss a gift ring at the opponent, which changes its size, to the point where it seemingly disappears before assaulting the opponent, an ability which causes instant death in the area that it pierces. In Vollstandig, he can create the Gift Ball Deluxe, his largest version of the Gift Ball, in which he would face off against Kisuke's Bankai, a gift ball which Askin declared inescapable. This massive space is essentially Askin's own version of the domain expansion, his poison effects permeating the entire space, drenching the opponent with poison. In addition to supplementary abilities like being able to determine the lethal dose of anything, the poison effects of the Gift Ball Deluxe intensifies upon his death, Now then, as a disclaimer, it should be known that Grimjaw attacked an off-guard Askin, and he was specifically chosen and put in place by Kisuke Urahara's genius, as a Resurrection full hollow form is poisonous to Quincy's. This video has covered Askin's speed, power, and abilities. In terms of enjoyment, he's my favorite Stormwitcher, so let me know who your favorite Stormwitcher is in the comments section. Cheers.